Well, hi everyone, it's Joe for Hire, and we are by the river in St. Mary's today. It's not Motivational Mondays. It's not, I didn't get a chance to film for the first day of spring yesterday, but hey, it's Wednesday, so we're going to make it count. Anyways, guys, I promised you guys I'd do a video about what to look for if you wanted to choose to buy a used Walker Mower. We all know about walkers. They're very popular. If anyone's been on YouTube at all, you've likely seen Brian Shane of Top Notch or Ambrose Landscaping. They both use Walker Mowers. They're both very adamant that they love the quality of the cut and everything else. And I just thought, I'm not trying to say, hey, I'm pro Walker or hey, I'm not pro Walker. I have used walkers at one other place where I worked part-time. They are very good mower. Yes, the cut quality is very good, and but do they fit your business? And everyone's business is different. Yes, they are a very good mower, but I did look on Kijiji and I found one on Kijiji that was used, and it was about $8,000. And I thought, well, I know they're worth a lot more than that brand new, like maybe around, well, I don't know how much a brand new one is. it's definitely not 8. But anyways, so I thought, well, let's just see. I called the one local Walker dealer, and I said, listen, I'm thinking of buying a used one. Is there anything I should be aware of looking at something that has close to 2,000? Well, it did have 2,000 hours on it. The guy was really good. It was Mark Van Ness at Nestec Lawn Care Equipment outside Stratford. Took the time. He says, yeah, by all means, come on in and I'll bring one in to show you because I have a used one here and I'll show you what to look for. Good salesman, actually, because once you get in, you get to see other lawnmowers. So, no, he was really good, guys. He took the time. They had one similar to the age of the one I was looking at. He had gone over everything. And, guys, the Walker mowers are good, but you have to keep in mind there are a lot of moving parts in the Walker. And so if you're looking at one that has close between 1,500 and 2,000 hours, Mark said the biggest thing to be aware of is the blower. Because you all know the walkers, they have a vacuum system to collect the grass into the hopper. And roughly around that, close around 2,000 hour mark, the blades of the impeller wear out. That impeller is not cheap. It's around $850, I believe, Canadian, plus your tax. So that's a pretty big purchase item. And with all the complicated parts, they're like, I'm no mechanic, but I wouldn't try to work on one of those. I do basic work on my mower. I wouldn't know where to start on the Walker. Like he said, he lifted the seat, lifted the hopper, so you can see all the engine, transmission stuff underneath. He says there's belts to look for. And then some of the other things too, guys. The heat shield from the muffler. I think there's some caps around the front wheels. He says that's how you can look to see if it's been well looked after or not. Because if those shields are missing, chances are it's hit something, or it's just someone hasn't looked after it. And also in the square box grass collector or hopper, I call it. You can tell them from a farm. Everything's a hopper. There is a motor and a switch because there's a chute that rotates to direct where the grass goes, so it doesn't just stay in one side of the box, so it fills out the box evenly, which is great. But unfortunately, they do wear out, and they can be expensive too. And so yeah, there's a motor in there and a switch. There was another switch, and I'm sorry, I don't have my notes with me. I did write this stuff down, but there was another switch somewhere else, maybe a starting switch that sometimes goes on them too. Like I said, he just went over everything he had gone over on his mower, and his mower was for about 6,000, I think, roughly, maybe 6,500. But everything had been gone over, and so it was ready to go. So yeah, that's just kind of some of the things to look for. Like I said, they're great mowers. I've used them. If you're doing leaves or leaf pickup, they're great for that. If you got some customers that like really pristine, they don't like grass clippings on the lawn, then that is the way to go. Exmark does make a version of the Walker called the Navigator, I believe. They're close to about $20,000 brand new. You can pick some up used But they may have the same expensive parts as a walker does too. The main thing is the blower, guys, because the blower is used quite a bit. Some of the other pros on the advantages to owning the walker, you can get different decks for them. Like you say, you buy one that has a 42 or 48 inch deck, you can buy a bigger deck complete, and you just put it on the front and off you go. Like, I think you can get anywhere from a 48 up to a 72 inch deck for a walker. Whereas my Cub Cadet guys, on my Z40 turn, the dealers told me, oh, if you want a bigger deck, Joe, you have to buy in pieces. You just can't buy a complete different deck for it. I think Kubota has two different options for some of their garden tractors. Some of the mid-sized tractors. My dad has one. He had a choice between a 60 inch and a 54. He went with the 54 only because he was able to put a mulching deck or a mulching kit on it, whereas the 60 he can't. So that's some of the different things to compare. So yeah, it's great to have that. And of course, you guys know on the walkers, the decks are out front, and they're great for getting into tight corners and all that. And like I said, I use them. They're, I've never used a walker before I started at this place. They made sure I read the owner's manual before I started, and so I had a general idea how they work. It takes a little bit to get used to the finger controls, the two little levers. I'm used to the steering wheel or bigger levers, but it didn't take long to get the hang of it. So yeah, there's lots of pros and advantages to having a walker. You give it that nice quality cut. You're not worried about leaving grass behind. They do handle some fairly thick, heavy, wet grass. We went to one place one time, and I worked for a landscaping company, and they don't stop because it rains at all. And I go, seriously? We're going to cut this? Like, there's no way. Well, we did, and it did not clog up the walker. Other places we went, there is I think the pipe between where the grass goes in underneath the deck, between the deck and the hopper got plugged. Because I couldn't understand why there was all these grass clippings around. But it was thick, wet, heavy grass. But this other grass, I just could not believe. Of course, you're going slow, and there was two of us, and I just could not believe these things were mowing this thick, wet, heavy grass. So, hey, that's pretty cool. And so I think some of the disadvantages, and it just depends how your business is set up. A, you have to have a trailer to handle all the extra grass, depending on how many properties you're doing. B, they're not the fastest compared to some of the stand-on mowers or some of the Ferrises. So if you're looking for speed, they're not quite as fast as what some of the standards are. But then because, of course, they have... Sorry, I got to change hands. It's pretty cold out here. Like I say, guys, with the grass collection, it does slow them down a bit. But they do a great job. Like I said, it just depends what your business setup is. Like I say, the company I worked for part-time, when the students went off to school in the fall, the 1 year I was doing that, I drove on a Toro Grounds Master, huge thing, with the bat wings that come down. So there's basically 3 decks, so for wide areas. So, and it was a diesel. That thing was a tank. And then in the other days, I would help the other person drive or go around and cut all the residential lawns. And they all use, they have 2 walkers. I think they're like 42 or 48 inches decks. Really good for getting some tight corners in some backyards. But you do have to look out for, if you buy a used one, you can just tell, if it looks beat up, chances are it likely was, which is too bad. But they're good mowers. I hate to use the word high maintenance, but if they have not been looked after prior, then they are a little bit more expensive to maintain if they get around 2,000 hours on them, especially the blower. That's what the dealer cautioned me on, was the blower. If you look down when you have the seat up and you can see the blades are worn, then chances are you need a new impeller on that or a whole blower assembly. So that's quite expensive. But anyways, guys, it's almost gone on 9 minutes now. I don't know where the time goes. Hopefully this has been informative for you guys. Sorry I didn't have an actual walker to show you on. And if you haven't done so already, hit like, subscribe, hit the comment section as well for my Joe for Hire channel. Always trying to grow the channel. Also, if you're on Facebook, check out our Canadian Lawn Pros Facebook, because I'll be posting this video to that Facebook group page as well. And we'll go from there. Anyways, guys, hope everyone's having a great day. And it's Wednesday, so we're already halfway through the week. Easter's coming up soon, so we're excited about that. And All my US friends, a lot of them are already cutting grass already, so we're kind of in limbo mode right here. The ground's frozen. There's still snow. I don't know if you can see that over there or not. Still some patches of snow around, so we're not quite out of the woods yet, but it's nice to see the sunshine. So anyways, I've hit 10-minute mark, and I think that's all I'm going to talk about today. So hopefully if you guys are thinking about a walker, hopefully this is informative for you. And by all means, just go and visit your local walker dealer, and they'll be able to point out other things to you about what to look for in a used one. Or if you want to buy a new one there, I'm sure they love to sell you a used one as well. So anyways, guys, if you're for walkers or not on the walker bandwagon, that's okay. Hopefully you found this informative. And this is Joe for Joe for Hire signing off.